Patience is wearing thin for some in the ag industry over the ongoing trade war with China. The Michigan Ag Commission approves a long-awaited change impacting livestock farms, and Michigan Ag Commodities Chris Betts has a look at your markets. I'm Janelle Brose, and this is Farm News 5.
Farm News 5 is brought to you by Ford.
The latest round in the ongoing trade war with China is causing heartburn for farmers throughout Michigan and across the U.S. So much so that the American Farm Bureau Federation weighed in an open letter to President Trump, noting that farmers are patient people used to playing a long game, but they, quote, need a win in sight. Meanwhile, producers impacted by the first round of retaliatory tariffs, which happened over a year ago, are still struggling.
Apples are on every retaliatory list. So with the Section 232 tariffs on steel and aluminum, apples were hit in China with 40% tariff. Now, only about 15% of that was from the 232 tariffs. We're also getting hit on the 301 tariffs, which are intellectual property. So it totals a 40% tariff. India, we were looking at it going up to a 75% tariff. Canada, Mexico, same thing. Canada's looking at their options right now and what they want to do. Mexico took us to a 20% tariff just based on those 232 steel and aluminum tariffs. So they were retaliatory tariffs that were hit for the entire industry.
Traditionally, 30% of the nation's apples are exported. When exports of U.S. apples from other states are stymied by tariffs, they compete for market share with Michigan growers, causing price disruptions that significantly impact a producer's bottom line.
We were seeing, some retails of $3.99 to $4.99 a pound of Honeycrisp this fall. We got hit with a ton of Honeycrisp from the West Coast. All of a sudden, those prices went down to $1.99 to $2.49 a pound. So you can see a huge impact when those apples come into our market. We've expanded to 32 states for fresh Michigan apples. That's up from 27 just a couple years ago. We are seeing a major expansion into the Northeast. We're selling more apples in Connecticut, New York City, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, West Virginia, Virginia. It's been a great expansion for our industry to get into those markets that had previously been really kind of closed off to us. So thankfully we have those, the ability to sell there and maybe take a little bit of the pressure off in some of this export issue.
If you want a car from a company that's been building them for 115 years, get a Ford. If you want a car with driver assist technology, get a Ford. You're gonna want a Ford.
The Michigan Commission of Agriculture and Rural Development has removed a zoning provision from the site selection Generally Accepted Agricultural and Management Practices, or GAAMPs. The May 15th vote came after months of discussion and review, and it impacts both new and expanding livestock farms.
As a pig farmer myself that's in livestock, I think today's decision by the Ag Commission to remove the zoning conformance clarifies the science behind what suitable means for siting. And what the department is saying is suitable is if you can meet the odor model, which is reviewable by science, and if you can meet the population density, which is reviewable by science, and then you're mitigating the risk. And so I think it gives farmers and the industry and even neighbors a clearer understanding of how to site livestock facilities in the state of Michigan. My task, as I was looking at it today, is what is the end game? The end game is that farms and neighbors would have good relationships. And so how do we do that? And we do that by making sure that there's not nuisance between the two. And so let's make sure that we have policy in place that really gets at the heart of what the nuisance is. And the heart of the nuisance really would be where we're going to cohabitate neighbors and livestock.
What happens when a road accident results in a hazardous waste spill? Contact attorney Dirk Beckwith at 248-539-9918 to learn the next steps.
In 2018, Michigan lost 13%, or 230 dairy farms. The rapid decline is a direct result of depressed milk prices impacting the bottom line of large and small dairies alike. For those who choose to exit the industry, there's more to it than selling your cows.
I would get my district farm management agent, educator involved and he will help you identify your resources and get you your team together and guide you on the process the whole way. Get a balance sheet together, what you own, what you owe, and then identify the tax basis on those assets. A raised dairy animal has a 0 tax basis, and a purchased cow or dairy animal has a tax basis similar to a tractor or a building. So you would identify all your assets and their basis, and then you can proceed with different sale, exit options. Your strategy should be to try to keep your taxable income as level as possible. That way your tax liability should be the lowest that you can achieve. And that takes a lot of planning, conversation with your tax professional and your lender, and have a coordinated plan to try to have a logical, even sale of the business.
For more on this story, check out the May 15th edition of the Michigan Farm News. 5 food and agriculture projects to help expand the state's ag industry and create jobs will receive grants from the state. Michigan turkey producers, True Blue Processing, Dave's Sweet Tooth, and Berrybrook Enterprises are each receiving grants to purchase new equipment and machinery or to construct new facilities. Northern Hardwoods Lumber, meanwhile, is getting a grant to purchase and expand a kiln drying lumber facility in the UP. And now with a look at the latest market activity, here is Michigan Ag Commodities' Chris Betts.
Thanks, Janelle. Delayed U.S. planting progress lent support to all 3 this week. On Monday, the USDA said corn was just 30% planted as of May 12th versus 23% a week prior and 66% on the 5-year average. Significant progress will have been made this week in spots, but more rain over the week and into the weekend will keep Monday's figure well below the average, which will lend support. The move in corn has supported soybeans, but the elephant in the room is still negotiations with China. Tensions between the 2 world powers have escalated of late after a deal seemed imminent. Talk of another trade relief package for U.S. farmers suggests the administration is preparing for negotiations to be dragged on long term, perhaps into the election cycle. Beans will need further support from corn to go a leg higher. Funds ate away at their large net short in corn this week. Further planting delays will encourage them to do so further, while some firm technical resistance and commercial selling will pressure this rally from extending higher. For more market information, go to michag.com. With Michigan Agricultural Commodities, I'm Chris Betts.
For more news and video, visit MichiganFarmNews.com and the Michigan Farm Bureau channel on YouTube. With Farm News 5, I'm Janelle Brose. Have a great week of farming.